Hey everybody, thanks for joining me for my video series called Writing is Like Riding a Bike. And today we're going to talk about video number 1, which is what's your story? And we're going to talk about how you develop a story and get your story ideas. My name is Bevan and I'm an author. I write for kids like you and I write stories in magazines as well as longer novels. And my book that's out right now is called The Backyard Players Present Abracadabra. And it's available on Amazon or Barnes & Noble, and I hope you check it out. All right, so first up, when we think about writing, a lot of times we think, I don't know how to do that, or it's not fun, or I don't know where to start, or things like that. And the reason why I want to talk about writing like riding a bike is because writing is really a skill. And anyone can learn how to write just like you learn how to ride a bike. And in this picture, we see that there's some training wheels on this bike. And that's okay because when you first start out, you might be a little bit off balance, you're not quite sure what you're doing, so you need a little extra support. But just like playing soccer or learning an instrument, when you first start out, you're unsure and it takes practice. So the more you write, the better you get, the training wheels will come off and you're going to go faster. All right, first up is the story. So what's your story? Where does it come from? How are you going to tell your story? The rest of this video is really going to deal with the writing process and how you do write a story. But for now, I also want us to think about how you can tell stories in different ways. So to get our creative juices flowing, let's think about the different ways there are to tell a story. You can tell it verbally, you can act it out, you can draw it, you can do a cartoon, take a picture. All of those are different ways that you can tell your story. So when we think about before we had an alphabet to write our stories down, we drew pictures. And pictures like this you can still see on rocks or cave walls around the country. And this is one way that we used to tell stories, and we can still do that. You might be thinking, I don't have any stories to tell. I don't know how to tell a story, but let's think about that. Did you tell your friends what you did over the weekend? Did you talk about a movie that you saw? Did you take a picture of your epic snowboard fail? Did you act out how you did a great shot in soccer at your soccer game? Then you're telling stories, and that there are things that you're excited about and you know how to do. So that's a great place to start. What are you excited about? What's your exclamation point? Is it sports, art? Do you like to travel? Is it music or movies? You like being with your friends? All these things are great places to start to think about your story and what you're going to talk about. Do you have a dog, a cat, a hamster, or a pot-bellied pig? These are all things that you know. They're all things that you've experienced and you can tell a story with through your writing, your photos, your drawing, etc. Let's look at this Dr. Seuss quote over here. I really love this quote because it says, today you are you, that is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. And I love this because it really tells us that only you can tell your story in your way, and we need your voices. We are each of us unique, so we have different ways to see and solve problems. We all have different lives and different families. We live in different houses. We all have different ways of seeing the world, and we can all create our stories. So I have an experiment for you all to try. We're going to make a story mosaic. So a mosaic, you see in this picture, is a smattering of smaller things that we put together to make a bigger picture. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to give you a story prompt, and you could come up with your own as a class, or maybe your teacher gives you one. And I would like everyone to just have a blank piece of paper. It can be any color or size that you all decide as a class on. And then you're going to take that writing prompt, and everybody is going to come up with a story in their own way. So maybe you draw a cartoon, maybe you do a painting, you could write a story on this one page, you could write a play on this one page, maybe you like graphic novels, you want to do a cartoon, whatever you want to do. Then in the end, you can put them all up on the wall in your classroom, and you can see how everybody came up with a different idea, a different way to tell their story. So here's the prompt. In my book, The Backyard Players Present Abracadabra, the friends find a magic wand. At first they think it's just a wand for their play, but it turns out to really be magic, and they turn their friend into a pig by mistake. So let's pretend that you find a bottle of magic bubbles. You're going to open the bottle, take out the wand, take a deep breath, and blow. What happens? All right, I can't wait to see what you come up with. Next time, we're going to talk about the right equipment that you need to ride a bike or write a story, and we're going to create a character. See you then.